¿Qué tal, amigos de Latin America Meetings TV? Estamos aquí en este formato de entrevistas home office y pues en esta ocasión tenemos otra entrevista internacional y me va a dar mucho gusto. La haremos en inglés, pero bueno, pues creo que todo el mundo estamos perfectamente bien adecuados en este momento. I give the welcome to Ryan. Ryan is part of the Simpleview team. Ryan, they develop really great software for many clients all around the world. And I think this is the right time to listen from Ryan. How can we work out the proactive activities when the time comes for everybody at the meetings industry to see you again, to say hello? So thank you, Ryan, to be here with us. We see you have a really great view down there at the Arizona, but still, you told me outside is the same weather. So great to have you here. And please, can you share with us, with the Mexico, Latin America community, how can we be proactive at these times, and how do you recommend with the Simpleview platform, how destinations and how everybody can take advantage of that?
Yeah, thank you, Rafa, for having me. And it's my pleasure to be here today. I am, of course, not outside in the beautiful weather, but here locked in like many of you, but figured I would try and brighten the mood a little bit as best I could. Of course, we're all going through a lot of the same things. It is a disorienting feeling for many of us. A lot of our routines have changed. We're not able to see our friends or our colleagues the way that we were even just 1 month ago. But at the same time, we continue on. And we know as a company, but also that it is an industry, that travel will return again. It's part of the human condition. It's part of our spirit. And exploration and travel is something that we know will be here. I think the question that people are grappling with the most is just when. When will people feel safe to travel again? When will they feel it's okay to get on an airplane? And when will they be willing to meet in big groups, whether for sporting events, conferences, conventions, etc. And we're working with our customers really every day. We've shifted our focus almost entirely to analyzing the broad swaths of data that we have. We work with close to 700 DMOs all over the world, many here in North America, but also in Central and South America. And we're looking at things from a few different angles and from a few different lenses. First, we're looking at the meetings industry. So how many cancellations have there been? And what we found in analyzing the North American market was that really from March 11th, when the World Health Organization announced COVID-19 as a pandemic, we saw a 70% drop in website traffic, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But we also saw a precipitous drop in meetings business and meetings cancellations that happened throughout, really starting in March into April, May, and into June. And from that, just for business influenced by DMOs and CVBs, we saw about a 5.7 million room nights canceled over that time frame. And much of that is business that we just won't get back. However, we also are measuring those that were postponed or that were rebooked. And, my belief, and it's just my personal belief, that there's a reality that we must contend with. And so my belief may be influenced by a certain amount of hope. But based on the data, we're seeing that meetings are not yet canceling into July, and we've seen no cancellations in August as of yet. Now that may change, and we'll start watching it closely, but we do believe that there's a pretty strong floor for meetings and convention business in August. And again, there's relatively strong reason to believe that there will be group meetings in July. That will depend greatly on geography, and we'll be slicing and sort of parsing the data differently for geography. We'll also be looking at the return of travel to rural versus urban areas, where we obviously believe that people will be more willing to travel where there are more wide open spaces. But on the meeting side, as I say, we are seeing that return to business in July and in August. And for those meetings that are rebooking, talking to some of our colleagues in some of the bigger destinations, they're already struggling with the fact that, associations and others whose revenue depends greatly on their events and meetings, they're all sort of scrambling to rebook. And so one major city was saying that they have 3 groups vying for the same dates in October. And so we'll see some amount of compression, we believe, into the back half of the year. And again, we'll be working closely not only with our partners in North America, but also Central and South America, to see how we can refine that data and use the systems to really suss out exactly how things are impacting different areas. As I say, that really is a meetings-based perspective, but the leisure travel perspective is almost identical. We've looked at a sample of over 200 DMOs and CVBs. Again, on the website, we built and we power the websites for Los Cabos, Quintana Roo, Panama, and Iguazu. And then we've combined that with all the data that we're seeing for our customers here in the US, in the UK, and other parts of Europe. And again, March 11th, we saw a almost 80% drop in traffic, and we now have a floor of very kind of a steady, very low volume of website traffic to DMO and CVB websites. What we're going to look at now is how much of that traffic that's left is coming from local, call it consumers, versus how much is coming from people in drive markets, and how much is coming from people in fly markets, or markets that are more than 250 miles away. Again, there isn't good news to report on that front yet, but as we monitor that closely, as soon as we do start to see an uptick, we will know that people are willing to dream again. At some point, they'll start to plan again, and then they'll start to book again. And again, we'll know that we're starting the recovery, and we'll be able to measure it as we come out, and which pockets and which spots are seeing the fastest growth and the best recovery. But as we, again, contend and deal with the reality and look for those sparks of hope, we're also encouraging our customers to take the time to, number one, engage their stakeholders. So it's a time now to reach out to your friends in the hotel, restaurant, or attraction industry and offer a helping hand. That may be nothing more than just checking in on them and making sure that they're in emotionally in a good state of being. But then also cleaning your databases. So this is a really good time, if you are people who are in sales, to update the notes that you have on potential meeting planners, to clean out bad email addresses that you may have. Just make sure that whatever information that you have, when it is time to appropriately market your destination again, that you're best positioned to leverage the data and that you've collected within your CRM systems, and then in your marketing automation and email marketing systems. And sort of along those lines, I think stakeholder engagement is incredibly important. We're working to take and continue to have a thought leadership position on the meetings and group side. And then from a leisure perspective, of course, being mindful of the fact that, people aren't traveling yet, that many people will have suffered economic hardships as we come out of this. But I do believe that it's really time to start revolutionizing your products and your services and the way in which you deliver them. Because, whether our data is prophetic or not, it does become easy, I think, to believe we will see a recovery in June and July. I mean, all of this came upon us in really a month, maybe 2 months' time. And if we are to see this through April, May, June, and into July, it becomes easier to imagine that we might see a recovery in 4 months' time and that we start moving in that direction. So things will be different. And there may be instances where we need to modify the way that we hold meetings. I do believe that we will see more face masks at meetings and in airports for some time to come. And I'm not saying you should go hoard those things or start stockpiling them now because medical workers need them. But even taking temperatures and making sure that people aren't ill. Those are things that will be happening for quite some time. It may be a long while before we're comfortable handshaking again, or hugging, or like my friends in Latin America, kissing each other on the cheek, right? But in time, again, those things will come back. It'll just feel a little bit different, be a little bit different, but we'll recover together. So, if I were to summarize those things into a few main points, I would say we want to deal with the reality. We want to watch the data very, very closely so that we can look for those signs of hope, and so that we're prepared when the recovery comes. And it's not a matter of if the recovery will come, when the recovery comes. We want to clean up our data and be as prepared as humanly possible, whether it's our data or on our websites, to promote and encourage that spark to dream again. We want to reach out to our stakeholders and our partners and our friends to buy as much goodwill and to build as much momentum as we can. And then finally, prepare for the future. We're all stuck at home, but we have access, like we do right now, to our computers. And there's no better time than to make sure that everything is organized, that your contacts are updated, and that you've done everything you can just to be ready to market and, of course, sell again when the time is right. So again, here at Simpleview, it's we've had to make some cuts. All of our staff took a 20% pay cut to help us flatten the curve, so to speak. The founders of the organization aren't taking salaries until we're able to return that funding to our staff. But we felt that it was important to be able to protect every job rather than prioritize any one job over another as best we could. But, for that group, everyone is still working probably as hard as they were, if not harder than they were before this pandemic. Again, to make sure that all of our customers' websites, especially all of our customers' CRM databases, are up to the task of what we hope to be a massive bounce back and really a quick recovery to all of this going forward. So again, thank you for giving me the time here today, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ryan. And well, you gave us a really complete explanation. And I think with that information, it will be kind of a new way of seeing all the things around the pandemic we're living, but also how can we be proactive, and the recommendations that you give are really, really important. And for sure, I will look for you in the future to see how updated we are. And because we know Simpleview not only has really important clients in Mexico and Latin America, but you have also around the world so many clients, that will be kind of a way of knowing how everything is going around. So thank you very much for your time. I will share with everybody the information around Simpleview so they can be in contact with you or with Rebecca here in Mexico. But still, it was great to talking with you, and we will see you soon, hopefully, or not only by Zoom, but hopefully on a live event.
Absolutely. And you know, the data and the research that I had mentioned is all available on our website. So if people have the opportunity to visit www.simpleviewinc.com, so it's simpleviewinc.com, and right there on the homepage, you can click on our COVID research center. And again, the data that I'm talking about, we're measuring website traffic on a daily basis. We'll be posting updates to our meeting data on a weekly basis. And in time, you'll see that become more distilled by geography, by budget size, by urban versus rural versus beach destination, et cetera. So again, thank you very much, and take care.